All right, quick review on the Harrington Arms Universal Compensator. What it is and why I bought it. Harrington Arms came out with this Universal Compensator a little bit ago. It doesn't use any set screws or anything, just an O-ring and the threads on the barrel, which makes it universal. And I bought it because I have this threaded barrel, full-size M&P, and my plan for this was for it to spend most of its time suppressed, and then just having a normal thread protector on there seemed like not a waste, but it's like I could put something on there to help out. In the past, I've used the HBI, or no, I think it was a Griffin Armament, they're pretty much the same thing, thread protector compensator that kind of jets the gas in all directions, and I found they just barely worked. And this design, one, I think looks a little bit cooler, kind of has that Roland Special vibe, and two, should on paper work better than the other designs I've tried. I've also tried a Parker Mountain Machine compensator on a Glock that I'll be referencing when we talk about this, but let's just get into it. Just to get the downsides of the Harrington Arms Universal Compensator out of the way, there's not many, but we'll just get them out. Just based off how this compensator is designed, there's no set screws, and what I've found happens is when I shoot hotter ammo, specifically plus P 124 grain HSTs through this, the comp wants to spin itself loose. With normal pressure ammo, it doesn't really do that. I think I only had it happen once or twice with standard ammo, but with the high pressure stuff, it certainly wants to unlock itself. And then the other downside, and this is more just with the host it's on than it is the comp itself, is you can see the length of the barrel kind of doesn't give you that nice flush fit that we're all looking for when we buy these things. That's really the only two downsides I've ran into with it. And to me, they're not that big of a deal because I kind of knew that was going to be the case just based off of how this comp is designed. So going into the positives, which is where the majority of this video is going to be, does the compensator work? Because that was my main question going into this, given my experience. Yes, it works. Is it as good as a model-specific compensator from Parker Mountain Machine or Harrington Arms? No, but it's not that far off in my experience. It's definitely a step up from the other universal compensators. So definitely riding this nice middle ground. The other positive, it kind of plays into the downside, but I do like the idea that I could just pop this off, put a suppressor on, keep it moving. That's good with me. Two, it seems to be of high quality. I haven't really had any weirdness with it. It ran with stock springs. Right now I have it down to a 12-pound spring while I wait to get my handgun suppressor, but that's what I found worked really good with this, which is definitely a sign that it's legit working. With the other universal compensators I've tried, changing springs didn't really seem to affect it any differently than when it wasn't compensated, if that makes sense. For reference, I have maybe 500 to 750 rounds through this gun with the compensator on it, and I think the first magazine I had a couple hitches, and again, this is with the stock spring, but then it seemed to work itself out, whatever it may be, and since then it's been, granted not that many rounds, but I haven't had too many issues. And then putting in the lighter spring, it's been running really well. At one point, I don't know whether it builds up unburnt powder or whatever. At one point I was getting kind of that sand kind of in the face kind of feel coming out of the ports. Granted, I was at an indoor range, which is really not the best place to be shooting these. But, just a couple things to note. I don't think it's necessarily positive or negative. So what I'll run into is a video of me comparing a 5-inch M&P slide and then this M&P slide with the compensator running 124 grain HSTs, standard pressure. And we'll see the recoil mitigation, how much it works. For reference, I use the same frame, and when I put this slide with the compensator on a scale next to the 5-inch with the the different dot and obviously no compensator, they were the same weight, so weight shouldn't be a factor in the recoil control. If anything, it's going to be me and the comp, and that's pretty much it. So you get a look at that and see for yourself. So hopefully you could see in that video how much this comp is working. I definitely felt it activating in all the ammo I've tried. 147 grain Super Bell, it was not activating. I went to 124 grain Super Bell and I could tell it was activating. I think 115 grain Blazer, I couldn't really tell if it was activating or not. But then 124 grain Blazer, it was working. 147 grain Blazer is working. 124 HST standard M plus B is definitely working. So in my experience, as long as you stay out of like the lightest of the power factor ammo, the comp will be working. Which was something, if I'm going to spend money on a comp, I want it to work with the majority of ammo. I'm going to shoot through it. That's just me, though. So at the end of the day, what do I think about this comp? For what I'm going to do with it, I think this thing is perfect. Is it as good as a model-specific comp? No, I think I've already said that. But it does 70 to 80% of what those comps do while protecting my threads, when really my main plan is to shoot this thing suppressed more often than not. Are there things I would change? I wish there was a way they could maybe have an extended model for handguns like the M&P and the P320s that have this like extra shoulder or whatever you want to call it. Maybe make a model for that, and maybe I don't know whether they could do a different type of O-ring or maybe some kind of spring assembly. That might be kind of complicated, but some way to just add a little bit more pressure. It came with 5 O-rings. I found the second biggest was the only one that got me relatively close. And like I said earlier, with the plus P stuff, it did try to unscrew itself. But like I said, for what I'm going to use this thing for, I think this is awesome. They're relatively cheap. If you have a threaded barrel and you're like iffy on the comps, you can give it a try. And then if you like how comp guns shoot, I'd say get a model specific. Or if you're like me and you're going to shoot suppressed, get this thing as a thread protector, because I don't see what you're losing by doing that. It's all positives in my book.